Well, with us, of course, is a very special guest, which we love to have with us, Nathanial Ledbetter, who's Speaker of the House of Representatives for the state of Alabama. Now, you all know about the Speaker of the House at the national level, but did you know, if you didn't, shame on you, but the Speaker of the House in the state legislature of the House of Representatives is a very important person. And Nathaniel, thank you so much for being with us. What I want to talk to you about today, a couple of things to start with, and then we'll get into other things if we have time. You guys had a busy session this last session, and one of the things that came up, I know, is this fentanyl situation, which we learned last night. Was it 70,000 people have died from an overdose of fentanyl in the United States, and I just wonder how is that correlating to people in Alabama?
Well, we certainly have seen an increase in deaths in Alabama because of fentanyl without question. I know some of the areas have seen over 400% increase. And, the tragedy of the young people are being killed because it's been laced with things that they don't know that it's in. We've had some officers that got sick and because of searching cars, it's just got the dust in it. And so, one of the things I want to do is we had a tragic death of a 19-year-old in my own district with overdose of fentanyl that he didn't even know was in the pill he had taken. So my priority was to try to pass a strong fentanyl bill. And Matt Simpson from Mobile, Baldwin area, he had the bill put together. He does a great job. So we got the bill out, the very first bill we passed, actually. And now Alabama's got one of the strongest fentanyl bills in the country. It pretty much tells you if you bring it into Alabama, you're going to wind up spending a long time in jail. And I think we got to continue to do that. We passed legislation also if police officers searching the car and they contact fentanyl, the charges are heftier, and they should be. Bob, there's been enough fentanyl come across the Texas border to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States.
Yeah.
And, we had a chance during the session to visit the border with the pro tem, and to be honest with you, it's a little discouraging. It almost is like we're giving our country away. But with that, it comes the illegal drugs and fentanyl. And of course, most of it, as you know, is manufactured in China, but it comes through by the cartel at the Mexican border. And so it's a serious problem. So we've got to continue to find ways to put fences up around the state of Alabama to help protect our people.
So what did this legislation, of course, it passed the House and the Senate, the governor signed it. What does it entail?
It increases the penalties. It increases the felony penalty. So, where it was not as strong as it should have been probably because nobody had seen this type of drug really that was this devastating to our population. So what it does, it just says, if you bring it in, you're going to spend a long time in jail. So it increased the charges and the penalties, what it did.
Right. We don't. What is our situation with illegals coming into Alabama? Are we seeing an influx of that in Alabama?
We do. And one of the things, so the three cartels that control the Mexican border are really broken down, and it's kind of almost as sad that it's almost like a company that has a certain product, they don't cross over to another company's product. And that's almost like the cartel. They don't cross. They got a territory they don't cross. They stay in it. And we see human trafficking is one of the major issues. Of course, we see it when it comes across our state. And I know law enforcement officers fight that continuously. And it's gotten to the point where it's not just, Interstate 20 or 65 or 10. It's also become in rural areas such as mine. So it is a problem. It continues to be a problem. And, there's going to have to be a time where the federal government steps up and does something with the illegals as far as how they come in. I think all of us would agree that, if somebody comes into our country for a better life and they do it the right way, we're fine with that. But what I had seen there, when our own government gives them out to fill out to tell them what time to come across the border, and give them a bus to carry them where they want to go, and say you got a court date in 2 years, it's not working.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that our legislature, the House and the Senate, both Democrat and Republican, said, okay, we've got to strengthen the law, make it tough. If they do get caught, that kind of thing gets out all over the place, and that just might say, well, to these guys that are bringing this drug in, we'll just bypass Alabama because once we get in there, yeah, 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 that sends them. That's the that's so important to send the message to these people. Don't come to Alabama because if you do, you're never going to leave.
That's our plan.
Yeah, I'm sure. If it's enforced, it'll work. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the adoption situation in Alabama. Now, I believe there was legislation that had to do in the last session with adoption. This is such an important thing today. What did we do to make that a better? Is it better, easier to adopt? How does that work?
That's a good question. I brought that up. That piece of legislation actually been worked on for 4 years, and Jean Shavers from Cherokee County chairs that committee, and she's the one that brought the legislation. Should work with a group to try to put it together and help with doing it, and they've done a really good job. It goes into effect January 1 of 04 or 24, I should say. And the thing that we got in Alabama, we got almost 5,000 children in our state that needs homes. And so what the process that we develop will do, it'll make it easier and quicker and less expensive. One of the adoption process in Alabama hadn't been changed in over 30 years. So it needed to be updated, and it was kind of antiquated, old, and it was kind of sad to see in the state. We had people that was wanting children that really couldn't have them for some particular reason. That's the reason they wanted children, but they were having to go to another country to get them because Alabama's process was so cumbersome. And so we thought, we got kids in our state that needs mamas and daddies, and this is something that we need to fix. And we did. The fentanyl bill and this adoption bill, probably the first two bills we got out. I think both of them were huge. I think it certainly sets a pattern for our state to know that we care about the kids that needs families.
Yeah, I guess then the next thing I wanted to ask you about was, and of course, I guess it's the gorilla in the room, and that's the dreaded gambling bill. And I say that tongue in cheek because it's up and down. It reminds me of a boxing match. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down.
The thing done, and this is something I've done on a lot of different projects that we're working on. We've put a committee together, ad hoc committee, to do the research on it. And some of the findings that they've actually found has been amazing. Uh, you know, what we've got to understand, gambling's already in our state. The problem we got right now, we don't have regulations for it. And it has become such an issue that it's hard for the attorney general to get his hands around it simply because you don't have enough people to go out and enforce all of it. Some of the CAs in different counties may be misunderstood by the law enforcement people in those counties. The Supreme Court of Alabama says the CAs are illegal. And they've been operating them for years and years. So we've got a tremendous problem in our state. What I had thought we probably had 50 or 60 illegal operations. One county we found that has over 70. Every county in the state just about has something. So it's almost become a crime organization because we have regulation we need, and people, let's face it, for the most part, I think people want to vote on the lottery. I mean, that's what they'd like to do. And every state around us got it. We're only one of two states. Right. Gaming. So I think the thing is to be smart about it, make the strongest regulations we can make, and all we can do is put it up for a vote. We can't pass it. So my thing as speaker is just like the adoption and just like the fentanyl, we got a problem. We need to fix it. Right. And sometimes fixing problems not easy, but I think that's what people sent us to Montgomery to do. And my goal is to try to fix it, to regulate it, to be the strongest regulations in the country, and then try to finish out some of these CAs to see what they can and can't do. And I think Chairman Witt has been in charge of that, done a tremendous job. His committee they've been working really hard, and to see the illegal operations and what's going on, it's really it's organized crime. I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically
Oh,
what
well,
it is.
sure it is.
So if you know, it's almost got to the point now where we got to vote to let the people vote to fix it. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
problem.
that's right. We got to put it up to the citizens of the state and make that decision and and make that piece of legislation a good one. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today, and I hope you'll come back real soon. And
Yeah.
we got more to talk to. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having us on.